Hey guys, Jeff here with Thrive Vans, and today I'm going to be talking toilets. Now, if you've watched any other videos on our channel, you've probably seen that we have a couple of toilet videos. In fact, one of the toilet videos is our #1 video on our channel. So what I want to do today is compare our favorite toilet, which is the Laveo Dry-flush, to a new up-and-comer, kind of the new kid on the block. So I have here, first of all, a Laveo Dry-flush toilet, and then I also have the newcomer, which is the Trelino. So I'm going to talk about the difference between these two and the pros and cons of each. Now, in full disclosure, Trelino did send us this toilet. We met them at the Overland Expo in Denver last summer and talked to them and pretty interested in what they had to offer. And so they sent us one for review. The Laveo we did pay for. So, but just know this is not sponsored, and our opinions on our own are our own, and we will not hold back. We'll let you know exactly how we feel about both of these toilets. So let's talk first about the Dry-flush. If you're not familiar with this, it is a battery-operated toilet, and it has a liner in it. You can kind of see that here. It's a Mylar liner, and when you use it, you just push this black button right here, and the liner twists off, seals what's in there, and then a vacuum pulls the bag down and creates a new liner. And you get about 15 flushes out of one of these. This is the liner right here. And a lot of people will, we've tried a lot of things, and other people have tried a lot of things to extend the life of those bags, like maybe not flushing it with every use, maybe waiting 2 or 3. But what we found is really it's a matter of how much this whole container will hold. And so even if you go 2 or 3 times and then flush it, you're still only going to get about the same amount of uses out of it as you will if you flush it every time. But we are able to go about a week with one of these liners. We will use it sparingly. We'll use public bathrooms when we can. At my age, I kind of maybe have to go a lot more than other people, especially in the middle of the night. And so we use it at night, first thing in the morning, so you don't have to get up and run and find a public bathroom. So when we use it like that, we're able to get about a week out of it. Now, what I love about this is there's no smell. It's very sanitary. When you do fill up the bag, you just lift off this little thing. You lift out the cartridge. There is a bag on here that you just pull the bag up around. There's a rubber band included. You tie that off. You take the whole thing and you throw it away. So it's really convenient that way to dispose of, and also the smell. It'll go a couple of months on a charge, so you don't have to charge it very often. It only takes a couple of hours to charge, and so when you do need to charge it, you just plug it in the van, charge it back up, and you're good to go for a couple of months. It's very light. It only weighs, I think, about a little over 20 pounds when it's empty, and when it's full, depending on the contents, it could weigh a little bit more, 25 pounds maybe. But it's easy to move in and out of the van if you need to. They're really well made. It's good company. They had some issues with shipping a couple years back during COVID, but a new owners bought the company, and they've kind of, I think, really improved things to where we order quite a few of these, and we usually get them shipped within a day or 2. They are in New England, and so for us it takes 5 or 6 days to get them, but they're really good that way. The cartridges are, depending on how many you buy, you can buy a 3-pack. I think you can buy a 9-pack, and they come out to about $20 per cartridge. So if you think about that, if you get about 15, 16 uses out of them, they're a little bit more than $1 per flush or per use. So they are a little bit pricey. So I will say that is probably the #1 con that people have with this toilet is the price. My feeling is if you're a part-time van person, which is what Lisa and I are, most of our clients are, then this is a great option because you're going to be able to use other sources and probably get a week. So you go on a trip and you're going to be able to use one cartridge typically for the whole trip, maybe two if it's a longer trip. And when you get back home, you can just leave that cartridge in here. You don't have to throw away that cartridge because it's totally sealed up and there's no smell. We've had comments, probably number one comment on our other videos about the toilet is about the environmental impact. So it is a Mylar bag. It's not biodegradable. And so that's going to go in the landfill and it's going to sit there for a long time. And so that's another probably downfall of the Dry-flush. I have been hearing for a couple of years that they're working on a biodegradable bag system, cartridge system for these, but that hasn't come out, and I don't know if or when it will, but that would be a nice thing for them to add. I know I've heard they are working on it. So that's pretty much it. It's a great toilet. Cost would be probably another factor. They are around $800 for this toilet. So a little bit more pricey than some of the others. Similar in price to a composting toilet. And if you want to know more about comparing this to a composting toilet, we do have a video on that, and I'll link to that in the description. So let's move on to the Trelino and talk about that. So here's the Trelino toilet. This is their largest version, and it's still a little bit smaller and more streamlined than the Laveo, which is nice. Either one of them will fit in a pretty small area. The other ones, they do make a shorter one. It does come in white. I think they even make one with a wood seat. This is a plastic seat. Here is what it looks like where you sit. Now, I will say for men, both of these toilets are probably where you would sit down for number one. They're pretty small targets. On this one, that little front section is the number one. This is a separating toilet. So it separates the number one and the number two. And so for the number one, you would have to hit this front area and probably get a lot of splatter. So you really are going to want to sit down for both of these. So the way that this works, as I said, it's a diverting toilet for it. So this top just lifts off. So for the number one, there is a container, and it just goes through that little kind of almost like a funnel and funnels it into this container right here. Now on the top of this container is a little valve, and it's kind of a one-way valve. It's rubber, and so it kind of seals off. It'll let the liquid go through, but then when you're done, it kind of seals off, and so it doesn't allow the smells or any splashing to come back into it. So nice design there. Then when it's full, you would just pull this out, take it wherever, take it into a public toilet or something, and dump it out. So it's pretty nice and easy that way. I will say that in vans, most people are using these for number one. A lot of people I've heard have a rule in the van. There's no number two in the van. But if you do want to use it, number two, or have an emergency where you have to use it, it is nice to have that ability. But for this toilet, if you're mainly using it for number one, I think this is a great option because it has that container. You're going to use it. When you fill it up, you just go dump it out. I will say the Laveo for just number one, it can get a little bit sloshy in that Mylar bag. And they do supply you with a little bottle of what they call pea powder, which helps to clump it up. Other people will use kitty litter and other things, and that helps, but it still can get sloshy in there if you're only using it for number one. And so that's where I think this one kind of shines, the Trelino, is that it is really a nice little complete unit for the number one, where you can just take that out and throw it away. For number two, it comes with these bags, and it comes with two versions of the bags. It comes with these, and then it also comes with a biodegradable bag, which costs a little bit more. These were actually shipped with the bag, so that's why I'm showing these. And I don't know if you can read that, but you know, funny, cute little thing they put on there. So the way that you would use this is you just put this liner into the bucket in the back. Okay, so you just take that bucket, you put the liner down into it, you fold it over, and then you just put it back into the toilet, put the lid on, and you're good to go. Literally good to go. Now, what I like about this is they do call it sort of a composting. It doesn't have the handle to crank it and churn things up and everything, but you can use it for number 2 and then just throw some composting material on top of it and then use it again and then throw some on, and that will help to keep the smell down. But personally, what I do, and for most people who are using these toilets very sparingly for number 2 in a van, is we just use it as a single use. And we have tested this out. It works awesome. So you would do your thing, then you would just take this bag out, you would tie it off, and you'd throw it away. And so it's really, I think clean and convenient that way, that you don't have any number 2 sitting in the toilet in your van for any period of time. You could immediately take that out right after you use it, tie it off, and then when you get a chance, you can throw it away. So it is really nice, I think, that way. So very simple design, works really well. It's lighter. This probably only weighs 10 or 12 pounds. So it is lighter than the Dry-flush, and it's really well made and nicely designed. I think it's made in Germany. So let's talk about a comparison of the two. What we like, what we don't like about both of them. So what I like about the Trelino, like I said, is how clean, sanitary, no smell. What I don't like about it is, for number 1, like I said, it gets a little bit sloshy. And we had an experience on a trip one time where we started smelling something pretty bad. And after a couple of days, we realized, hey, there's something going on. So I lifted the lid off, pulled it out, and the Mylar bag had somehow gotten a hole in it, and it had leaked out. Now, there is a holding container inside of there with another bag, but somehow that secondary bag had gotten a hole in it as well. I don't know if it was a defective product or if we did something, I don't know, but it had leaked out through the Mylar bag, through the bag that protective bag that's really for disposing of everything, and just into the bucket. Again, it was all contained in the bucket, but just that everything leaking out into there really smelled bad. And we ended up having to pull the whole thing out, go find a hose, wash it all out and everything. And so that is probably my biggest negative about the Dry-flush, is just the sloshiness of the number 1, and also the cost. So and then the non-environmental aspect. But really, that's pretty similar with both of them. You've got both of them. This one you got a plastic bag. This one you got the Mylar bag. But you do have the option with the Trelino to get their biodegradable bags, and so that is a good option. So I'd say this one is just a little bit more eco-friendly on the Trelino than the Dry-flush. Now, what do I like and dislike about the Trelino? I love that it is small, lightweight. I love that it fits into a tighter area in the van. You can see this way. It is shorter this way, similar height, a little bit narrower, but a little bit smaller this way. And they do make one that's shorter. So these are going to fit. If you have a little bit tighter space, the Trelino might be a better choice for you. The other thing I like about it is, for number 1, that self-contained container up in the front where you just take that thing out, dump it, put it back in. That's really convenient. And then I like, for number 2, that you can do it for single use, very inexpensive, just one bag. Use it. You can even use grocery bags or other types of bags. It's a pretty standard size container in there for the number 2, and that you can take that out and you can dump it, throw it away after one use. So you don't have any of that number 2 in your van at all if you do need to use it for that. So I'm going to say that for us, the Trelino has a slight edge. Still love the Dry-flush. Still, a lot of our customers are still choosing this. But if you're looking for something a little bit less expensive, I think this one you're going to save $200 or $300 on the Trelino versus the Dry-flush. And if you're mainly going to be using it for number one, I would say the Trelino is a little bit better designed for that. So overall, I'm going to give the edge to the Trelino. Kind of a big surprise since we've been such big fans of the Dry-flush for so long. But you can't go wrong with either one. It's really going to be up to you which one works best for you. But let us know down below what you think, which one is your favorite, or if you've got another type of toilet that you would like us to review or that you recommend to other people. Love to hear that. Thanks again for watching. Jeff with Thrive Vans. Thrive on. See ya.